What if I told you that Bitcoin, the decentralized cryptocurrency that promised to free you from government control, was actually created by intelligence agencies to build the most sophisticated financial surveillance system in human history? You've been sold a dream. Financial freedom, anonymous transactions, power to the people. But what if the entire crypto revolution was engineered from day one to eliminate cash, track every dollar you spend, and give governments unprecedented control over your money? In 2008, a mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto released Bitcoin to the world and then vanished without a trace. No one knows who Satoshi is. No one has ever found him. His Bitcoin wallets worth over $60 billion today have never moved. Doesn't that strike you as strange? And here is what they do and tell you. The NSA published a paper on cryptocurrency in 1996, 12 years before Bitcoin. The CIA funded blockchain technology development through In-Q-Tel, their venture capital arm. And the encryption behind Bitcoin, it's based on SHA-256, an algorithm created by the NSA. You feel it every time you hear cashless society, every time your bank pushes digital payments, every time a government announces a central bank digital currency. That's not progress, that's the end game of a plan that started decades ago. Before we expose this conspiracy, drop a comment. Where are you watching from, and do you own crypto? Let's see who's already in the system. Hit subscribe if you want the unfiltered truth about Bitcoin, blockchain, and the digital prison being built around your wealth. Because what I'm about to show you will change how you see every cryptocurrency forever. Let's decrypt the lie. To understand the crypto conspiracy, you need to understand what governments have always wanted: total financial surveillance. For centuries, physical cash was the enemy of state control. You could earn money, spend it, save it, and no one could track it. No paper trail, no government database, no permission needed. Cash was freedom, but governments hated that. They couldn't track black markets. They couldn't prevent tax evasion. They couldn't freeze your assets with a keystroke. So they spent the last 50 years trying to kill cash, and crypto is their Trojan horse. Let's go back to the 1990s. The NSA, yes, the National Security Agency, the same people who spy on your phone calls, published a paper in 1996 titled "How to Make a Mint: The Cryptography of Anonymous Electronic Cash." Written by groups within the NSA, this paper laid out the theoretical framework for digital currency using cryptographic signatures. Sound familiar? That's literally the foundation of Bitcoin. But here's where it gets darker. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, the CIA's venture capital firm, In-Q-Tel, began funding blockchain and distributed ledger technology companies. Their stated mission: to identify and invest in companies developing technologies that provide ready-soon innovation for the intelligence community. Translation: they were building the infrastructure for financial surveillance disguised as innovation. Then came 9/11. Suddenly, governments worldwide had the perfect excuse to expand financial monitoring in the name of fighting terrorism. The Patriot Act in the US, similar laws across Europe, all designed to track money flows, eliminate financial privacy, and build digital databases of every transaction. But there was a problem: people still used cash. They could still operate outside the system. Governments needed something more seductive, something that would make people voluntarily enter a fully digital, fully traceable financial system. Enter Bitcoin. On October 31st, 2008, right in the middle of the global financial crisis, when people's trust in banks was at an all-time low, a white paper appeared online titled "Bitcoin: A Peer-to-Peer Electronic Cash System" by Satoshi Nakamoto. The timing was perfect. Banks were collapsing. Governments were printing trillions in bailouts. People were angry, looking for alternatives. And suddenly, here is this anonymous digital currency that promises to free you from corrupt banks and government control. Sound familiar? Every revolutionary technology is released when people are most desperate for change. The white paper was brilliant. It described a decentralized digital currency where transactions are recorded on a public ledger called the blockchain, verified by a network of computers instead of banks. No middlemen, no government control, pure financial freedom. Millions bought in. Bitcoin exploded from pennies to $69,000 per coin. Ethereum, Ripple, thousands of other cryptocurrencies followed. An entire industry worth over $3 trillion at its peak was built on the promise of decentralization and privacy. But here's what they didn't tell you: Bitcoin is not anonymous, it's pseudonymous. Every single Bitcoin transaction is recorded forever on a public blockchain that anyone can view. Your wallet address might not have your name on it, but the moment you connect that wallet to an exchange a bank account, or any KYC know your customer system, your identity is linked permanently to every transaction you've ever made. Sound familiar? It's the surveillance state's what dream of financial system where every transaction is tracked, timestamped, and stored forever in an immutable database. And who has the technology to de-anonymize blockchain transactions? The NSA, the FBI, the IRS. In fact, blockchain analysis companies like Chainalysis and Elliptic work directly with law enforcement agencies to trace crypto transactions and identify users. The IRS has spent millions hiring these companies. In 2020, they offered a $625,000 contract to anyone who could crack Monero's privacy features. They're not trying to stop crime, they're building the infrastructure to track everyone. Now let's talk about Satoshi Nakamoto. Who is he? Where is he? Why did he disappear? Satoshi's Bitcoin wallets hold approximately 1.1 million Bitcoin, worth over $60 billion today. He hasn't touched a single coin since 2010, not one. Does that sound like a person, or does it sound like an intelligence operation that completed its mission? Multiple investigations have tried to identify Satoshi. Some say he's a cryptographer named Nick Szabo, others say Hal Finney, a programmer who received the first Bitcoin transaction. Some even claim it's a group of people or a government agency using a pseudonym. But here's the smoking gun: Satoshi's writing style, posting times, and technical knowledge match patterns consistent with someone operating in US Eastern Standard Time with deep understanding of NSA-level cryptography. The encryption algorithm Bitcoin uses SH8-56 was designed by the NSA and published by the National Institute of Standards and Technology NIST. Satoshi chose an NSA-created algorithm for accuracy supposedly designed to escape government control. Sound familiar? You don't use your enemy's tools to defeat them unless your enemy gave you those tools. Now here's where the conspiracy goes from theory to terrifying reality. Governments worldwide are now launching central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, digital versions of their national currencies built on blockchain technology. China already has the digital yuan, with over 260 million users. The European Union is developing the digital euro. The US Federal Reserve is researching a digital dollar. Over 130 countries representing 98% of global GDP are exploring CBDCs. And here's the mechanism they're not explaining: CBDCs give governments total control over your money. With physical cash, if the government freezes your bank account, you can still use cash. But with CBDCs, there is no alternative. Every dollar you own exists only as data in a government database. They can freeze your funds instantly without a warrant, set expiration dates on money, spend it or lose it, forcing consumption program restrictions, no alcohol, no guns, no unapproved purchases, track every transaction in real time, implement negative interest rates, your savings automatically decrease, tie money to social credit scores like China's system. This isn't speculation, it's already happening. During the Canadian trucker protests in 2022, the government froze the bank accounts and crypto wallets of protesters and donors without court orders, no trial, no due process, just financial elimination. Sound familiar? When your money is digital, your freedom is revocable. But here's the twist most people miss: Bitcoin and crypto paved the way for CBDCs. For 15 years, crypto normalized the idea of digital-only money. It trained an entire generation to trust blockchain technology. It eliminated the stigma of cashless societies, and now governments are using that infrastructure to roll out their own controlled versions. Bitcoin was the beta test, CBDCs are the final product. And the mechanism that makes this conspiracy unbreakable? Network effects and the elimination of alternatives. Once enough people are on digital currency, once cash is sufficiently stigmatized as dirty, dangerous, or only used by criminals, governments will simply phase out physical money entirely. You won't believe the timeline for when cash is scheduled to disappear in major economies. The receipts are public, and they're accelerating faster than anyone realizes.